The starving artist scenario is familiar to many, but there are ways to make a living doing what you love as a painter, sculptor, filmmaker, or other type of artist. Joining me to talk about a business model for artists is SDSU accounting lecturer John Baumunk and Patrick Stillman, painter, photographer, and founder of the Studio Door, an arts incubator in North Park. Now, John, from a business point of view, what are the major challenges in getting an artist to use a business model to promote their creative work?
Well, a business model, I think, is composed of three different parts that are main features of all business models. And that is the accounting side, the legal side, and the marketing side. First of all, the artists need to market their product. And in order to do so, they need to find an audience, a following, somebody who will actually purchase it and give them money for it. In addition, artists can also try to get grants. And funding that way is certainly viable for artists, because what artists are selling is not necessarily something that makes money. It's something that also has value beyond what it brings in terms of money. The legal side protects the artist's intellectual property, and the accounting side helps the artists keep track of and control their costs.
And this is all part of this business plan. But Patrick, as a painter and owner of Studio Door, and you've created this arts incubator, how do you help other artists avoid this starving artist cliche?
Well, I learned very quickly when I was doing my own experience, committing to my art 10 years ago, that there is no real path for an artist to succeed. And so the Studio Door is kind of a culmination of learning things about, how do you price your art? How do you interact with galleries? And all these questions that artists who love to create don't necessarily have the skills for.
Now, John, you were saying that you thought it was essential that artists have a business model. How would it be different from someone who's not an artist?
Well, art isn't something that necessarily is intended to make money per se. It's an expression. Artists are expressing themselves. It should be something that's true to the artist's identity, what they perceive and what they think about themselves and the world around them. And also, art has value beyond, it has value as something that people like to look at, people like to listen to. So it's not just about making money for the artist, it's something more.
And you mentioned briefly what the artist business plan might include. How hard is it to get them to buy into that? Or are you finding that artists are saying, yeah, no, I need some help here?
I think at some level the artists know that they need help, but I think that artists have sometimes had negative encounters with business or with things like accounting and numbers and certainly legal ideas and lawyers. And so the idea, I think, is to get the artists to view themselves as entrepreneurs in a sense, and also harness the creative aspects of what artists do, because entrepreneurs are also very creative people. And that's why I think artists can be also very good entrepreneurs.
I'm seeing Patrick nod and kind of smile at this. Now, artists are often self-described kind of loners who crave a solitude to create their products. So how do you encourage them to network and share ideas?
Well, I think the very first thing I tell artists is that if you're alone in your studio or at home creating art, you're never going to get an audience to actually hear what you're creating and your message. And so I've tried to offer them tools to help them succeed in doing that. And part of that's this an entrepreneurial road of learning how to market themselves and learning some of those basic business essential skills.
Now, do you think it's really possible in today's world of digital art being easily accessible and sometimes cheaper online? Do you think it's possible to make a good living as an artist?
It certainly is. You might have to work a little bit harder at getting your following, because anybody can put something up on YouTube, for example. But at the same time, if it has something of value that connects with people and you start to develop a following, much the same way that there was a big following for the Grateful Dead in their heyday, then you can establish that group of people that wants to purchase what you're producing.
And Patrick, so what can a local artist do if they want to be involved in the art incubator or learn more about this entrepreneurial art type of lifestyle?
Well, they can certainly contact me at the Studio Door. We're at www.thestudiodoor.com. And we have two different aspects that they can engage in. One is programming. We're doing shows and exhibitions that aren't necessarily happening in San Diego. And then secondly, we have instruction on the art to market to really build those basic skills.
And we have more information on our website, kpbs.org. Patrick Stillman and John Baumann, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.